Hello everyone, today we will learn about the cold injury, freezing injury, and protection of tea trees. According to the distribution of tea areas in China, especially due to the changeable climate in alpine areas, tea trees also suffer from cold, drought, heat, and wet. In the complex natural environment, hail, strong wind, and other meteorological disasters threaten the growth of tea trees, reduce the yield and quality of tea if not bad, and cause the death of tea trees if serious. So to understand the situation of victims, analyze the causes of damage, put forward preventive measures, and carry out post-disaster remediation to minimize the losses caused to tea production is an important problem that cannot be ignored. In the process of tea cultivation, let's first understand the concept of cold injury and the symptoms of damage. The first is cold injury, refers to the disaster that tea trees encounter abnormal low temperatures during their growth, and the low temperature are generally above zero, such as the cold wave in spring and the cold dew wind in autumn. Harmful symptoms: withering of the leaves, the overwintering buds are damaged. The branches and shoots will dry until the whole plant is frozen to death. The second, freezing injury, when the low altitude temperature drops below 0 degrees. The tea trees will suffer freezing injury. Harm symptoms: branches and leaves are withered or red. The edges of the adult leaves turn brown. The leaves are purple-brown. There are pock marks and hemp to the tender leaves. It tastes bitter to make green tea with such fresh leaves. When making black tea, due to the decrease of phenolic varieties, the fermentation is poor and the aroma is reduced. Then let's learn the type of cold and freezing injury. Frozen. After days of overcast rain and freezing after snowfall, tea farmers called it little rain freeze. The leaves became reddish-brown from 1 to 2 days. 2. Wind froze. Tea farmers also called it black wind freeze. It is caused by a sharp drop in temperature under the attack of a strong cold wave. At first, the leaves are bluish, white, and dry, and then turn yellowish-brown. 3. Snow freeze. The disaster forming snow cover melting, freezing, thawing, and then freezing. 4. Frost. The temperature on the ground or on the surface of the tea plants at night drops sharply below 0. Cause frost on the leaves, or although there is no frost, tea trees suffer or die, which is called frost. It can be divided into white frost and black frost. Then we need to know the classification of cold injury and freezing injury. The degree of cold injury and freezing injury can be divided into 5 grades. Freezing injury can be divided into 5 levels. The degree of freezing injury can be divided into the following 5 grades according to the severity of frost injury symptoms. The first grade, affected plants accounted for less than 20%. The second grade, affected plants accounted for 20 to 50%. The third grade, affected plants accounted for 51 to 75%. The fourth grade, affected plants accounted for 76 to 90%. And the fifth grade, affected plants accounted for more than 90%. The main causes of cold injury and the frost injury are as follows. First, the comprehensive influence of adverse meteorological conditions, persistent low temperature, sharp drop in temperature, depth and duration of foreign soil, atmospheric and soil drought. Second, active bacteria aggravate the formation of frost injury. What are the measures to resist these injuries? The defensive measures for the new tea garden. To consider that it is beneficial to the tea tree overwintering on the south-facing, leeward, and sunny hillside. The second is to select excellent cold-resistant varieties. The large-leafed variety has weak cold resistance. Small and medium-sized leaf species have strong cold resistance. Introduction in alpine areas should be introduced from places with higher latitudes or higher elevations to ensure that latitudes and elevations are similar. Deep reclamation and application of base fertilizer before planting can improve soil fertility. Fourth, build shelter belts. Establish ecological tea gardens. Consciously retain part of the original forest greening growths and build shelter belts, which are permanent protection measures. Generally speaking, the effective windbreak range of the shelter belt is 15 to 20 times the height of the trees. The defense measures of the existing tea garden: 1. Physical method of anti-freezing. Smoking method. Smoke shooting can reduce the radiation of the ground at night and form direct heat release when smoke is formed. They can increase the garden temperature, avoid frost. Barrier method. The cause of advection frost is the inflow of cold air. Barrier method is the main measure to prevent advection frost. Water spraying method. When the tea tree surface reaches the freezing point, spray water. Due to the release of latent heat, the temperature can be reduced slowly. Covering method. Laying grass in tea garden or owning grass have extremely significant anti-freezing effect. This method is widely used in various tea areas in China. It is observed that owning grass can increase the lowest temperature at night by 0.2 to 2 degrees Celsius. The fan method. Install a supply fan 6 to 60.5 meters above the ground to blow the warm air on the counter transfer to the peaking surface of tea trees to improve the spherical temperature of tea trees to prevent frost and promote the growth of shoots. Second, the chemical method of anti-freezing spraying chemical agents. Using chemical agents to keep heat, reducing transpiration or promoting the ripening of new shoots, and improving the degree of lignification to enhance the cold resistance of tea trees, to delay the protective coating of buds and the shedding periods of scales. This is a characteristic method to prevent frost damage in tea tender leaves. Use antibiotics to kill ice nucleation bacteria. Japan has explored the use of antibiotics to kill ice nucleation bacteria and antagonist microorganisms to inhibit the development of ice nucleation bacteria. These two ways at present, foreign countries have also tried to prevent frost injury from the following ways. Spraying leaves as a fungicides, such as streptomycin, to inhibit the proliferation of ice nucleation bacteria. Protecting tea leaves with the same polymer compounds, but also inhibit bacteria activity. Spraying antibiotic liquid that are antagonistic to ice nucleation bacteria to inhibit the population number of ice nucleation bacteria. Tea trees must be pruned after freezing. Cut until you see green. Shallow plowing and fertilization. After thawing, shallow plowing and fertilization in early spring, which plays an important role in improving soil temperature and soil fertility, to cultivate the crown. If the frozen tea tree is cut or re-pruned, the crown needs to be re-cultivated. And the same as the aging tea tree. Those are the main contents of this lesson. Bye.